Your heart is pounding, your breath is shallow. It's like a tidal wave of tasks and feelings and what ifs crashing over you, and suddenly you're just frozen, stuck. The sheer weight of it all is paralyzing, and your mind, instead of helping, it spins, spinning faster, digging you deeper into that awful, panicky spiral. If this feels familiar, you're not broken, you're human. And you're definitely not alone. A UK-wide survey recently showed that 74% of adults have felt so overwhelmed by stress and emotion that they become unable to cope. This isn't a personal failure, this is your body responding the way it was wired to, trying to keep you safe. But in doing that, sometimes it can just keep you stuck. And what if the secret to breaking free isn't to fight harder against the wave, but to anchor yourself to something steady beneath it? And today I'm going to show you how. Not with complex theories, but with practical, science-backed grounding techniques. Tools that really helped me through trauma crises and that I've shared with many of my clients. When I was in the early stages of healing from trauma, specifically childhood sexual abuse, which I often abbreviate to CSA, that level of overwhelm wasn't rare, it was daily. And I remember that vividly, the crying that wouldn't stop, flashbacks that came out of nowhere, a feeling of numbness, feeling frozen, or like I was inside this twister where things were just spinning so fast and I didn't know which way was up or down. Sometimes hours slipped by and I couldn't account for them, and just like time vanished. That was the disassociation pulling me out of the present without me even realizing it. And the thing is, many people healing from trauma go through this exact same thing. We call this the emergency stage. And it's not something that you consciously choose, but once you're in it, it just takes everything to ride it through. And no amount of pulling yourself together is going to work, because trauma is just not logical. So what's actually happening when we feel this way? Well, when we're overwhelmed, especially if we've experienced trauma, the amygdala, the brain's smoke detector, goes into overdrive and we get flooded with cortisol and adrenaline. And our rational mind, this prefrontal cortex, the part that problem solves and helps us regulate, gets shut down completely. And that's when we are going to go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Our body thinks we're under attack. And even if that threat is a memory, a tone of voice, a smell, or it might be nothing that we can actually consciously name, that's survival mode. But we're not meant to live there. And that's why I co-created this emergency toolkit, which is based off the work of Ellen Bass and Laura Davis, who wrote The Courage to Heal, and a beloved mentor and healer I previously worked with called Nerida Miles. And I want to help you to create yours, and I'm going to guide you through it in this video so you can really get a tangible feeling example of it. Now, this toolkit isn't about fixing everything. It's not about escaping the pain or bypassing it. It's about helping you anchor through it. Just like a boat in a storm doesn't stop the waves, but with the right anchor, it stays grounded. So we're not looking to escape anything here. We're not looking to move away from anything. We're not looking to move away from ourselves or put in some coping panacea. This is about a tool to move through and create actual healing. So let's start. Now, the first step in an emergency toolkit is always going to be, number one step is breathe. So let's just do that now. Inhale slowly through your nose. Hold it for a second. Now exhale through your mouth, long and slow. Let's do it again. Inhale, hold, and exhale. And I'm going to take you through something called the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. It may sound simple, but don't underestimate it. It can really bring you back when everything feels like it's spiraling out of control. Let's start by looking around your space and name 5 things you can see. You can name that in the mind or out loud. And really take a moment here. Don't rush. Notice the colours or the shadows, the textures. Maybe it's the way the light catches the rim of the glass, or a crumpled jumper on a chair, a tiny scratch on the wall that you never noticed before, some dust in the sunlight, a curl of steam rising from a cup. Say them in your head or out loud, whatever helps. And taking a breath. Now 4 things that you can feel. Bring your awareness into this moment, into your body. Feel your feet pressing into the floor. Perhaps notice the texture of the fabric on your skin. Run your fingers over something, maybe the arm of the chair, the soft edge of a blanket, your own sleeve. Perhaps it's the air on your face, or the way that your chest rises and falls with that breath. And you can simply experience that feeling. Be with that feeling. And you can simply feel and experience any emotion that is present. You don't have to name it. You don't have to understand it. Be with the experience. Taking a breath. Now 3 things that you can hear. Stop and really listen. Not for those big obvious noises that you might hear in my background or your own background, but for the subtle ones. Maybe it's the ticking of a clock, or the hum of a radiator or the aircon. Maybe it's the hum of the fridge, the sound of birds outside or distant traffic, even your own breathing. And now 2 things you can smell, and this one might take a little effort. Maybe it's the scent of a candle, or the faint smell of soap on your hands, or a cup of tea, or just the scent of the room that you're in. And if you can't smell anything clearly, that's okay. Just notice that. And finally, 1 thing you can taste. What's in your mouth right now? Maybe it's the taste of the last thing that you ate, even the dryness or the warmth of your own breath. Or maybe you can just sip some water now and feel the coolness of it. And taking a breath. Now that whole practice is like connecting yourself back into your body. You can add other steps to your emergency care toolkit. Maybe it's placing your hand on your heart and repeating an affirmation. I like to use things like, I'm here, I've got you, you're safe. Maybe it's using a movement. There's gentle rocking. There's a technique called the butterfly technique, which can be useful, as is doing some gentle stretching. However, I like to use some subtle movements that I can literally use in any environment, on a packed public tube station or in a meeting at work. So it might be something like my hand in my lap and just clenching my fists and releasing, or wiggling my toes, or softening my forehead, whatever springs to mind. The point is just doing something really simple and easy that you can do anytime, any place. And there are some other things that can be helpful if available to you. In some moments there are, such as placing your bare feet on the earth. That can be really magical, where you're connecting to that big mother, the Mother Earth. It really helps us to ground. Maybe it's soft music, not harsh. That can be stimulating of the nervous system. Something really gentle, or wrapping yourself in a weighted blanket. That can be useful if you're at home. Or even a prayer if that speaks to you. Just whatever feels like love. Whatever feels nourishing and nurturing and calming of the nervous system. So I like to breathe in the love and the hope and the support, and breathe out whatever I'm feeling. Breathe in love. Breathe out feeling, and trust that love is there even if you can't feel it. Love exists all around us, even if we're made of the stuff. It's in our cells. And I'm going to share 3 top tips here. Tip number 1, build it before the storm. Don't wait until you're completely overwhelmed to figure out your tools. Create this toolkit during your moments of calm so it's ready when you need it the most. Like, write it down on a piece of paper or in your phone, somewhere you can find it easily. Because in a moment of crisis, our brains do not think clearly and we forget what helps. Tip number 2, practice makes resilience. It's like that first aid training. Paramedics practice their emergency response protocols, like that Dr. ABC, over and over and over again, so that in a real crisis, they can just act automatically. And the same principle applies here. Anchor these grounding techniques into your daily routine. Reach for them in those small moments of stress, not just in a full-blown crisis. Tip 3, the last step is to repeat. At the end of your emergency tools, whether you have 3 steps or 10 steps, always add this to the final instruction. Return to step number 1. And you keep repeating this cycle until the emergency is past and you feel settled, anchored, and centered in yourself again. Each time you do this, you're going to create a new experience of safety and proving to yourself that you can be there for you. These techniques are amazing tools, but they are just that. They're tools. And while you can calm your nervous system in the moment, the real lasting shift comes from something deeper. And that's about changing the way that you relate to yourself. It's about practicing self-compassion. So often when we feel overwhelmed, our default is self-criticism. We say things like, why can't I handle this? I must be broken. I should be stronger by now. But that inner critic only fuels this spiral down. It keeps our body stuck in survival mode. And self-compassion is the antidote. It means speaking to yourself the way you would a dear friend who is struggling, with warmth, with patience and encouragement. And this isn't just nice sounding fluff. Research shows that people who practice self-compassion are less anxious, more emotionally resilient, and better equipped to cope with stress. It doesn't mean letting yourself off the hook. It means giving yourself the care and support you need to get back on solid ground. So the next time you ground yourself, whether you're noticing your breath or you're feeling your feet connected to the ground or clenching and releasing your hands, try something gentle like, this is a moment of challenge. I'm okay. This feeling is okay. Even if this feeling is not feeling okay at all, which is something I adapted from this theory, the OK Corral, which I'll share another time. We just really need to acknowledge your pain without judging it, which is profoundly calming. It creates this sense of safety. And that's what your nervous system and those wounds are truly needing. Self-compassion also creates a growth mindset. Instead of thinking, I'm broken, you can say, I'm experiencing overwhelm and I have tools to help myself through it. That small shift in perspective is everything. It's how you reclaim your power. People with higher self-compassion don't just feel better, they actually rise, they become stronger. I've recently done a video on this topic called Turn Your Biggest Obstacles into Massive Opportunities. So that feeling of being completely overwhelmed doesn't have to be a life sentence. It's just a temporary experience, like a temporary storm moving through. And you're not some helpless victim to it. You're not the boat being tossed by the waves. You have tools to be able to anchor here and now in this moment. You have the strength. So next time you feel any overwhelm rise, don't brace. Don't try and move away from it. Just pause, anchor, and try one of these tools. And most importantly, really wrap it up in this just big blanket of self-compassion. And come back and let me know in the comments which technique resonated with you the most, or perhaps you have a grounding tool that's helped you in the past, because your experience really might help someone else who needs to read that today. And if this was helpful, please like, share, subscribe for more practical ways to navigate life with just a little bit more ease and a lot more self-compassion. You've got this. Thank you.